Okay, so next up we've got the Greasy Strangler from 2016. It's about a father and a son. The father, named Ronnie, he runs a disco walking tour with his son Braden. And when a sexy woman, and I'm using sexy in quotations here.
Is she your type?
Well,
just go on.
I'm just going to ignore that. So when she takes a tour, it begins a bit of a competition between the father and son for her love, and there just happens to be this oily strangler walking the streets at night, killing people. That's pretty much the plot. It's one of these movies that's just so weird and crazy, and I don't know, you gotta be into a certain type of comedy to really enjoy this, I think, and luckily for me, I enjoy this type of humor. I mean, some people will look at it and just say, well, that's retarded or that's stupid, but there's a lot of quotable scenes for me, and scenes that I quite memorable. I'll go back and watch specific scenes and certain conversations in the movie. It's just I find it funny. The characters are quite interesting and funny in a stupid way, but yeah. I don't know. I could just think of different moments in the movie and just laugh. So I know for you tend to not enjoy really silly comedies, so I'm assuming you didn't have a great time with this.
This movie, I have had some friends from other horror websites who have seen this one and speak positively about it. It wasn't the movie I was particularly interested in seeing, but admittedly, it's a movie that I sort of put off watching because I didn't want to see it. But I started watching it and I tried to give it a chance, but there was a movie, I think we talked about this, I don't know if it was last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, called Triloquist, which I gave a infamously low rating, and this movie I think is actually worse. Yeah. I actually had more fun with Triloquist than I did this one. And I think a lot of that is probably for the same reasons that other people like this movie, because you obviously you're not alone in liking this. This has like a 5.2, 5.6 on IMDb, something like that. It has a pretty okay rating. But I'll just say that the characters here, they didn't feel like real people. The conversations ranged from stilted and awkward to cringe-inducing, and the chants throughout the movie, like the free drinks at the beginning, or the whole disco cutie thing. Like there are times when I wanted to just like stop and just stop, but I persevered and I got to the ending, which was oh boy. Anyhow, what are your favorite parts about this movie?
Sounds like you didn't get your free drinks. That's why you're upset.
I am indeed a bullshit artist. So.
Yeah.
And don't even get me started on. Oh god. Okay, Jess, I'm sorry. Go.
Don't even get you started on what?
Just the whole bullshit artist thing. Like that's not even a phrase I was familiar with. I'm assuming it was an actual phrase. I mean, I doubt this movie came up with it. If it did, it just came up with one of the most annoying phrases in history. But
no, bullshit artist's been around for I don't know if it's how. I mean, it's something that I've heard pretty much my entire life. So
see, I've never heard of it until this movie. So, and like this father-son relationship's probably not the most healthy relationship I've seen.
I wouldn't say anything they really do is healthy. So.
And also, the woman whose name I forget, there was a scene in which, she was, she's been with the son, but then she sort of randomly goes over to the father. I thought at first she was doing that to, like, get some information, like, hey, is this guy actually the Greasy Strangler? But no, she just, like, jumps ship and, like, goes over to the father. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Like, I don't know, it just bothered me. These people aren't really people, and it wasn't really my idea of anything good.
I always think that this movie feels like what it would be like if Adult Swim tried to make a horror movie. Or I think of shows like Tim and Eric, like, in fact, the Braden character in this, when I first watched this movie, I actually thought it was the Eric guy from Tim and Eric show, so I was surprised to see that it wasn't him and there's someone else out there. But no, it's got weird music, and the director seems to think, he says it's not a horror movie. I mean, you know, to quote Wesley Snipes, you can put a cat in an oven and that doesn't make it a biscuit. You know, it is a horror movie. Yeah.
I can understand why somebody would say that, because, you know, it's often listed as like a horror comedy, but I mean, I can see why people would take issues with either label, because the horror is, I mean, it's obviously there. You see people get strangled on screen.
You get their eyeballs eaten. And
you see an old naked guy with a giant penis go through a dry cleaner. Like, the horror is there, but it's the way this movie's made, and to be honest, I don't really know what they're going for. Obviously, enough people enjoyed it to, you know, get, you know, decent rating, like I said, but I don't know what they were going for, and it just for me it obviously didn't work.
What do you think about his Michael Jackson story?
I've got nothing. I mean, see those scenes where it's like, was he trying to be, you know, trying to have an actual relationship with his son? You know, an actual like connection with his son. You know, those scenes, you know, they were okay scenes, and the stories were, you know, even if they were made up, you know, the stories are fine. But then it goes, you know, like the father's such a dick. I mean, and he has, you know, quite a large one also. But I don't know, that father was probably one of the worst characters in the movie. But it's really hard to say that though, when pretty much any of the three main characters were iffy. Like even the son, he bogged the hell out of me most of the time. Because it's not like he was a necessarily bad guy, but the guy was one of the most boring individuals I know. And of course he writes fantasy novels, but this is the keeper of the troll bridge.
Well, no, it's just I just think all the dialogue in the movie is just so ridiculous that it's funny. Even when he's having sex, am I doing it right? And he's just like, am I doing it right? And then she's like, imagine if I just farted right now.
Yeah, that was some very romantic stuff. I don't know. I'm just thinking more about the movie, and it's just, I've got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a bit of a child at heart. I enjoy a lot of immature stuff, and yeah, like I said, with the whole farting thing, you know, if someone, well, not even that, like, there's a scene later on where this Oinker character comes up.
And I have no idea what the hell that guy was.
But just randomly kind of talks to the dads, like, you let go a real humdinger last night, and his eyes were watering. And just the look he gives after the heavy breathing, like, I don't know, just silly things like that. I just find it all funny. So, and even like there's a scene where he goes up to this hot dog vendor, and the hot dog vendor's like, or he says to him, you know, give me a dog, and he's like, I'm gonna make yours extra piquant. And then it takes like 2 seconds to make it. I'm like, what's so piquant about this? And to quote him, what the fuck is this shit?
That might be an understandable reaction to the hot dog, in all fairness.
He could lose his license. Yeah. Anyways, no, it's just, I just enjoy all this silly shit. So, I mean, I don't need to really go on too much more about why I thought the movie was enjoyable. It's pretty much enjoyable for all the wrong reasons. So, 8 out of 10, fight me.
Yeah, this is a movie. This is a type of movie, in my opinion, that it's hard to have a middle ground. Like, you either get it or you don't. and I didn't get it. In this movie, like I said, I found it a challenge to get through. Just the idiocy of some of the conversations going on. I get that some people enjoy that, and obviously people can enjoy what they enjoy. But it wasn't my type of thing, and I would give this one a solid 0 out of 10.
Round it up to a 1 because we don't do zeros.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know why. On a side note, almost no rating system has a 0. So, I mean, there's not many things out there of 0 value, but I mean, they do exist. So it just also bugged me.
Well, 1 is meant to signal the worst, so.
Yeah, but 1 still gives it something. I don't know, it's just a small thing, but I mean, it's nothing. It can get a 1. Well done, Greasy Strangler.
Well, see, if you add a 0, then there's 11 different ratings you can give. So,
and if you add 0.5, then you have a lot of stuff going on. This is unrelated to the Greasy Strangler, but it's related to the name. This is actually I think it's a Japanese movie from the 70s called The Oily Maniac. I think it's 1976, and that is it's nothing out like this because it's actually gold. But it's a very interesting and wild movie. If you've seen many Asian movies from the 70s, or it looks like it's from Hong Kong. If you've seen many Asian movies from the 70s, they can sometimes be they can be a bit out there. So if anybody happens to chance across The Oily Maniac, I would recommend giving that a watch. I would not recommend giving this one a watch.